Hello, thank you for coming. So, as Ariana said, I identify myself as a cyborg. I don't feel I have superpowers, but I explain you why. Actually, because I merge myself with technology in order to extend my senses beyond my natural ones. There are many things that happen around us that we don't perceive because our senses are limited, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. So some years ago, I understood if I unite myself with technology, I could perceive and reach to these more imperceptible things around us. I'm actually a choreographer and a dancer. And when I was in the studio, I realized that you can move with your body constantly, but we are not the only ones that move. There are many things that move beyond humans. And then I started, since 2007, I started to unite myself with technology in order to perceive movement in a deeper way, in another way. And I did several projects about detecting the speed of the people walking in front of me. Also putting some earrings some earrings in my ears that allow me to feel what I have behind my back. But then all this sense of movement was about the other people that I had around me. And I was like, how could I perceive movement that didn't become from people? And then I had this image, if I would be alone in the planet, how could I perceive movement? And I realized that the Earth itself, it's constantly moving. Not only rotates by itself or around the sun, but it shakes constantly through seismic activity. And I thought it would be fascinating to be united to this huge and natural movement, like the Earth shaking itself, through my body. And then since 2013, I started to develop what I call the seismic sense. So it consisted that I had some implants in my, first on my arms, and it had a long transition, but at the end I had some implants on top of my feet that were connected to online seismographs, and whenever there was some seismic activity somewhere in the planet, I would feel a vibration inside my body. So now I was here in Amsterdam, but if it was an earthquake in Japan, in California, in Australia, I would feel a vibration inside my body. Depending on the intensity of the earthquake, the vibration I would feel would be stronger or less strong. And I call this the seismic sense, the sense of feeling the seismic activity in real time in my body. First, I had to get used to feeling all these vibrations constantly because the Earth moves a lot. I'm from Barcelona, so my experience with seismic activity was just very mentally. I didn't know that the Earth really moves so much. It's alive. Actually, I was surprised how it's possible that San Francisco exists. I mean, how we've been building cities at the edge of the tectonic plates that actually our planet is constantly moving. It's amazing, no? So actually, I had to get used to feeling all these vibrations constantly. I think it's very different to know that the Earth is moving than actually to feel that the Earth is moving. So at the beginning, when someone was talking to me and I would feel some seismic activity, I would get distracted. When I was sleeping, I would wake up more often, but little by little, I got used to feeling all these vibrations. And a way that I had to describe it is like I added a new beat inside my body. Apart from having my heartbeat, I had the earth beat having its own rhythm inside my body. And I see this as cyborg art. For me, the definition of cyborg art would be designing your own perception of reality by creating new senses and new organs. But cyborg art has some problems. It can be a very solitary art because actually I'm the only I'm the only member of the audience because I'm the only one perceiving these new senses. So in a way, cyborg art happens inside the artist's brain. So we are the museum or the theater, the member of the audience, and the art itself. So in order to share what I feel, I create external artwork. One of the pieces that I have, it's a dance piece that it's called Waiting for Earthquakes. I usually do it in museums because it's a durational piece. It can last minutes or it can last hours. And I stand still, and whenever there's an earthquake, I move according to the intensity of that earthquake. So it's a bit like a duet between the Earth and myself. Actually, Earth is the choreographer of the piece, because whenever she moves, I move. So if there are no earthquakes during the performance, there's no dance. Lots of festivals are always worried about this. What happens if there's no earthquakes? This is how it is. No, it's based on real time, but usually there's always some seismic activity. So usually I end up moving. Another way that I have to share this experience is through seismic percussion, as I'll share it later. Usually I create these, what I call seismic scores that look like this. The first one that I did was in Mexico. And actually, I collected all the seismic data that happened in Mexico in the last 50 years, and I put it in a score that lasted like 10 minutes, and I played in Mexico, so the Mexicans could hear how the country had been moving seismically through the interpretation of the drum. So in that case, Earth is the composer of the piece, and I'm just the interpreter. Another project I did is that I collaborated with some soft robotic fashion artists, and we created a seismic garment. So it's a garment that inflates and deflates whenever there's some seismic activity in real time. So now when I perform Waiting for Earthquakes, I also wear these garments so the audience can see how the Earth moves through the clothes, through the fashion. And these are some projects that I did, but also in 2010, I co-founded with my actually childhood friend, Neil Harbison, the Cyborg Foundation. We basically founded with 3 aims. One was to help humans to become cyborgs. The other one was to promote cyborg art as an artistic movement, and also to defend the cyborg rights, the right of designing your own body and deciding what senses and organs do you want to have. But the word cyborg has been used in many different ways. We think that being a cyborg, it's an identity. Some people don't have technology in their body and they feel they are cyborgs, and some people have technology in their body and don't feel that they are cyborgs. So it's something very personal. It's about identity. But from the Cyborg Foundation, we said there are many ways of identifying yourself as a cyborg. Maybe you can be a psychological cyborg. Maybe all of you are already psychological cyborgs. When your mobile phone is running out of battery, you say, I'm running out of battery, instead of saying my phone is running out of battery. So you have this psychological union with technology and yourself. One could be a biological cyborg, which is the physical union between technology, cybernetics, and your body. One could be a neurological cyborg, which is the modification of the brain and the mind, because you've been united with technology for so long. And then some years ago, I came out with another term. I had my seismic sense and the implants for almost 7 years. And then I wanted to have a radical change, and I decided to take the implants out. I was so scared. I was more scared to take them out than to put them in. And then I thought that everything would change. And the most weird thing is that when I took them out, nothing changed. And I could still feel the seismic activity inside my body for some months. So I had this phantom effect. And for a while, I was like, maybe I'm a phantom cyborg now, because I can feel seismic activity even if I don't have the implants in my body. After a while, it disappeared. We also define ourselves as trans species because we have now a new sense and organ that is no longer defined as a human sense and organ. So it's like a new way of evolving our species. A good example of this is this Neil Harbison that has an antenna that doesn't belong to humans. It belongs more to the animal world. This antenna is implanted in his skull and allows him to perceive color through sound. Color becomes a vibration in the skull, and this vibration becomes a sound. So for him, colors are sound. And he hears colors beyond the human spectrum, so from infrared to ultraviolet. Another project that we did, so I'm like talking, I want to say many things. Actually, Neil and I, we did a project together. I have a tooth missing in my mouth, and he had another tooth missing in his mouth. And we got invited to Brazil to work for a week with some engineers. And we thought, well, maybe we could do something with this tooth missing. We collaborated with a dentist, and a tooth was implanted in my mouth, and another tooth was implanted in his mouth. And whenever I click like this, he would feel a vibration, and whenever he clicked, I would feel a vibration. And actually, we both know the Morse code. We did it for another project, so we were actually able to communicate with each other by clicking our mouth. We called that the transcendental communication system. It was the very first tryout. We did a little experiment. I was sitting at the end of a table, and Neil in the other end of a table, looking backwards, and then the audience would write a word, and I would be like, and then he would he would feel the vibration and write it and write the words, and it worked. So it was the first tryout. It's actually communication that people that cannot move at all can use it. Also, it can be used in a space because you don't need air to communicate to each other. The nice thing about it is that it was made with Bluetooth, so it was actually a Bluetooth tooth for real. Another example is Manel de Aguas. He's another artist from Barcelona. He has these things implanted in his skull, and with these things he can feel temperature, humidity, atmospheric pressure. And when you know these three things, you can feel if it's going to be a sunny or cloudy day. So he can feel the weather through sound. So he's the weatherman for real also. Kyle Lander, he's another artist from Barcelona. He feels the cosmic rays from space through sound. So he also creates music based on these cosmic rays from space. And another project that I did, I'm pregnant again, but actually from my first child, with my partner, we created what we call the pregnancy sense. It consisted that I had a bell around my belly with an ultrasound sensor connected to an interface and to a phone. And in the other hand, my partner had these headbone-conducted headphones connected to his phone. And with this, he could literally call our baby. And in this call, he could hear the fluids of the amniotic sac, the blood pressure, and at the end, the heartbeat. So we said that he was digitally pregnant, and I was biologically pregnant. So in a way, he could feel the pregnancy through sound through all these months. And with this new sense, we created what we call the Cyborg Family Concerts. We had a few concerts, not many, because it had we had short time to do it. But actually, with the new one, we also did it. And it consisted that in the concert, I plugged the belt into speakers so the audience could hear the heartbeat of our baby. And then we also mixed it with our own heartbeats, and we created music using our own bodies as a tempo of the music. So actually, our babies have been DJ at a very young age. Hope they like it and don't sue us when they grow up. And all these senses actually allow us to feel and to understand better the planet we live in. Actually, now that I identify myself as a cyborg, I don't feel closer to robots or to machines, but actually I feel closer to the planet and to the Earth. And I have this more profound union. And also we get inspired a lot of how other animals can sense what senses they have and how they experiment our planet. Sometimes what we think is very unnatural, it can be very natural. I mean, perceiving ultraviolet, infrasound, it's already in nature. Animals can fly. Even immortality already exists in nature. There's a jellyfish that keeps regenerating, and it's immortal. So sometimes when we think it's very unnatural, it's part of our nature. And we also define this as revealed reality. We don't think that we do virtual reality or augmented reality. We define this as revealed reality because it's a reality that exists, but we don't perceive. So by creating these new senses, we can get closer. It's like revealing this reality that it's hidden. We think that we've been transforming for many, many years. We've been transforming our planet in order to live more comfortable, but maybe we have arrived in a time that we should modify ourselves in order to understand and adapt better the planet we live in. And just to end, I think it's up to us that the union between technology and humans doesn't distant from nature, but the other way around. It can make us closer to nature, to understand better the planet we live in, to have more empathy towards other species, and maybe even get us closer to space. So thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna drink some water, and now I'm gonna play. Sorry, wait again. So I prepared a score of all the earthquakes that happened under the Mediterranean Sea from the last 50 years, or 30, no, 30, from 1974. And yeah, I'm gonna play it. I hope you like it.
1974, 1975, 1976, 1977, 1978, 1979, 1980, 1981, 1982, 1983, 1984, 1985, 1986, 1987, 1988, 1989, 1990, 1991, 1992, 1993, 1994, 1995, 1996, 1997, 1998, 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. 2014. 2015. 2016. 2017. 2018. 2019. 2020. 2021. 2022. 2023. 2024.
Yeah.